سلام لخ مريم مليخ طيبوثة نارا عماخ مريخات المشي وموريخ بير خرسيغي شو ناط مريم يلدت آلها صلح لا بين حطاهي هاشا وشاق الموثين آمين.
My name is Father Santosh Kumar Digal. I come from the Archdiocese of Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Orissa, Eastern India, near Calcutta. At present, I am the Deputy Secretary of Orissa Catholic Bishops' Council, Bishops' Conference, and I act on behalf of bishops, especially to coordinate the common activities of the region. We have 6 dioceses, and we meet about 3 or 4 times in a year in different locations to discuss, evaluate our work in the region and plan for the next. I also present the common activities at the national level once in a year in the month of November along with all other bishops' conferences of the provinces. Besides this, I am also the spokesperson of the Bishops' Council. When there are some issues, I try to speak, release press releases so that the face of the church is being heard both to the government as well as the civil society groups.
I am Father Mrutyunjaya Digal, a priest from the Diocese of Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, Orissa, Eastern India. I was born in Kandhamal, one of the districts of Orissa, and was brought up. We are Christians from our grandparents onwards, and I am a born Catholic Christian. As a child, I have been witness how difficult it is to live our Christian faith in our own village and in the province as well. Now, I am working in the Archdiocese as the economer and also responsible for implementing socio-pastoral projects in the Archdiocese. I am happy to be a priest and dedicate my life in different capacities to work for the people of my region.
India is a huge subcontinent and has various types of cultures in terms of language, lifestyle, and many other things. It is also a land of contradictions. It has plenty of things that can be understood, can be misunderstood by people in the country as well as people from outside. As a whole, it's a land of blessings that accommodates various types of religions, people coming from other continents, and it's a secular country that permits to practice, propagate all the types of religions in principle, and the Constitution Article 25 guarantees in this sphere. However, there are occasions in reality that it becomes difficult to practice religion, especially minority religions like Islam and Christianity.
The situation of Christians in India, because of the socio-political reasons, becomes difficult. First of all, Christianity is a minority religion, 2.3, which about 27 million Christians in India. And among them, most of them are Dalits and tribals. Situations of Dalit and tribal Christians are very difficult in this secular country. First reason is because of the political scenario that we Christians find ourselves today. The party at the center with the nationalist idea makes it difficult to practice our faith. Of course, it is our fundamental right to profess the faith according to our choice, but the situation makes us difficult to practice this freely our own faith. Because ideologies, one nation, one religion, and one race. All other religions become subordinate to this, and we are at the receiving end, especially by the Hindu fundamentalist group. For the Christians especially, the Anti-Conversion Bill, which is in force in Orissa and in some other states, province in India, makes difficult for the Christians to practice their faith. And this bill is against the Constitution, against the fundamental rights of the citizens, especially the Christians in India. Because anyone, especially from Hindu to Christianity, becomes, because of coercion and allurement, can be punished by this law. And this law is most of the time misused by the Hindu fundamentalist group, and it is mostly applied to Christians. Secondly, in India, in the society, we have caste system. Caste system is very oppressive and discriminative, especially for the Dalits and tribal Christians, because on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, these sections of the people in the Indian society are discriminated by the people, also by the law. And most of the people belonging to this caste, Dalits and tribals, have embraced Christianity to escape from the caste system, but their situation is never better because they are subject to different kinds of attacks and persecution.
Orissa has about 40 million population, and out of which 2.3% is the Christian population. It amounts about 1 million, and in general it has lots of possibilities for spreading of Christianity, but because of the anti-Christian laws that stifle the propagation of faith, and we as missionaries face number of challenges to proclaim religion and profess faith much more freely like other parts of the country.
In 2008, we suffered from the biggest attack on Christians. In this violence, Christians in Orissa suffered a heavy loss. 56,000 people became homeless. 6,500 houses were burnt and destroyed of the Christians. Many people, including priests, pastors, and nuns, were assaulted and injured. More than 100 people were killed, including a priest, and many more of them were brutally killed. Many women, including a religious nun, was gang raped. More than 10,000 school-going children discontinued their studies because of the anti-Christian persecution in the region. And this has taken us back 50 years, making us economically poor. And this has left us a huge challenge. First of all, working for the relief of the people, working for the livelihood of the people, working for the justice mission, education of the children, empowerment of the women, and many others. And we are happy to tell you, with the help of national and international organizations, with the collaboration of many people of goodwill, we have been helping our people to rebuild their faith and the houses, to help them, enable them to begin their life all over again in Orissa. And we are happy to tell you Church in Need and also Manus has helped us in many ways to rebuild the faith of our people. They have supported us especially for the building of the churches, training of the seminarians, training of the catechists, and this has helped us to instill hope and courage in the life of our people. And this has also given them a message that in the difficult moments, they're not alone. There are many people of goodwill and faith are in solidarity with us, supporting us and praying for us. That gives them courage to live this faith despite of different challenges they face on day-to-day basis. But this is not the end of the persecution we as Christians face in our region. In different forms, we continue to suffer. Secondly, in the society, because of the caste system, they are discriminated on the basis of caste and on the basis of religion. And it is our struggle and also struggle of the church to empower these people, to help them to live with self-respect and dignity. And church is committed for the overall growth, well-being of these people, and this again becomes a threat for the government. Because not only for the government, but also for the people in general, especially belonging to the majority religion, Christianity is seen as a foreign religion. And that religion has come to India to invade their culture and make all people Christians. And therefore they spread hatred towards Christians, terming them as invaders in our culture and religion. That makes us difficult because as citizens of a country, we have equal rights any other people belong to any other religion to profess our faith, and that is our right, which Constitution guarantees us, also right as any other citizens in the country. And the situation of women, especially belong to Dalits and tribals, also very difficult. First of all, unlike the status of women in Europe, in our society, they are looked as the second-class citizens. And their freedom is curtailed in many ways. And they are not given sufficient freedom to recognize their own worth by way of education or otherwise. And it is also the responsibility of the church to work for the empowerment of women.
India has always faced this persecution against Christians for centuries and in different parts of the country. However, in our region, the Orissa has for last 40 years most significantly has faced this persecution. In 2007 and 2008, it has been the climax of persecution in which the Hindu fundamentalist groups tried to attack Christians as a laboratory of experimentation against Christians for political reasons, because of which we face a huge loss of lives, like 101 Christians were killed and 56,000 Christians and others were refugees. We lost about 300 and more churches, convents and institutions, and 10,000 school students were dropouts or discontinued studies. And on account of this, we lost properties amounting millions, which has taken us 50 years back, which is a great loss. And this has been the case for our learning lessons for our work as missionaries, as church.
In general, persecution against Christians is done by the Hindu fundamentalists. Though many of the Hindus are good to Christians, but it is only few, the fundamentalist group, who create troubles and persecute Christians for political and social reasons. First of all, Christianity is seen in our place as a foreign religion. They are seen as enemy of their culture and religion. Therefore, they spread hatred towards Christians, saying that Christians have come to convert all the people into Christianity, and the majority religion is going soon to be a minor religion that becomes a threat for their own existence. Therefore, spreading this hatred towards Christians, they start persecuting the Christians.
Ideally, the government is supposed to take care of all citizens and take care of minority religions as well, in principle, but in reality it doesn't happen, or it doesn't translate into concrete action to protect minorities like Christians. They're supposed to prevent this violence in 2007 and 2008, especially not to prolong for too long, and stringent action should have been taken, but somehow the government failed to control and to stop this violence in a quickest moment because of political reasons, and that's a disadvantage for us. However, church leaders, our bishops, along with other civil societies, have been making concerted effort to stop this violence as the primary responsibility of the government to do this. And we continue to lobby with others that government should always act proactively to stop this violence, either in Orissa, the province we belong to, or any part of the country. There are about 6 provinces that have enacted the anti-conversion bill, including our province, and our province was the first one to enact. This law prohibits people converting to Christianity from other religions, which is very, very derogatory, and we have been making efforts. This should be repealed, but efforts have not been very fruitful, and this law is very applicable to only Christians, which is not supposed to be. And this also goes against the constitutional law, which says that everyone is free to profess, propagate and promote one's religion. And in principle, this is a draconian law which should not be existing at all.
And one of the first states to introduce the bill was Orissa, the province we belong to. According to this law, anyone is converted to Christianity out of allurement and force can be punished by this law. Now this law is against the Constitution, because one side Constitution guarantees that in a secular country like India, any citizen can profess freely any faith, and therefore this law is against the Constitution and against the human rights. And for us, especially as priests and any pastors, they apply to us, and anything we do, especially in the name of charity or for the empowerment of people, this law can be applied to us and we can be punished even though we are innocent.
The punishment is that you invite imprisonment, and you can be put behind the bars, the person who is converted or the person who helps to be converted. So both can be in the receiving end, and so it's a problem. According to this law, especially a person from other religions who wants to profess Christianity needs a government permission, which is against his own conscience or against the Constitution. So this has been very partial in application of the law, which is very questionable.
In 2008, a Hindu leader was killed, and it was claimed by the Maoist, the rebel group. But they blamed Christians for this killing in order to justify the violence that they had prepared to inflict upon Christians. In this violence, large number of Hindu fundamentalists went to different Christian villages, assaulting them, attacking them, beating them, killing them. destroying their houses, burning their houses, burning also the churches and different institutions belong to Christians. In this violence, 56,000 people became homeless. They left their houses, ran to the forest in order to save their life, and they ended up in refugee camps set up by the government. And 6,500 houses were destroyed, burnt, and property worth millions were looted and burnt by the Hindu fundamentalists. More than 100 people were killed brutally, including a priest, and that happened because they professed Christian faith. They asked, will you become a Hindu? Whoever refused to become a Hindu, he was killed, and in some of the cases they were cut into many pieces. And in this violence, 395 small big churches were burnt and destroyed. More than 10,000 Christian students, they discontinued their studies because of the anti-Christian persecution. And this has affected them deeply, because the house which they built from their hard-earned labor, that they saw in their own eyes burning. The near and dear ones, they witnessed in their own eyes being killed brutally. And the churches, sign of their faith, when they went to the church, they saw that church on set fire. And this has definitely impacted psychologically deeply.
Like I can tell you that there was one case, the person was asked whether you want to renounce your Christian faith or not. If you renounce, we will spare you. If you're not, you will just get rid of you. And as a result, in front of the wife and children and family members, he was cut into 3 pieces. Horrible experience, and that has traumatized the family members. In another case, same thing was asked whether you want to renounce faith or not in Jesus Christ. When he declined, he was buried alive and crushed his head with a stone. Like this, there are a number of cases which has impacted very horrible way in the life of Christians. However, this situation has made Christians stronger to profess their faith, and they have become very courageous to say that I am a Christian, I need to live my faith more freely and courageously.
First of all, we have to accept different challenges that we suffer in our own context, because I believe Christianity has always grown in the midst of sufferings and persecution. Tertullian, the historian in the church, has said, the blood of the martyrs is the seed of Christianity. And it is also our hope, because of the Christian persecution, there is a possibility of growth of Christianity in a region. We also see now a lot of people coming to the church, practicing their Christian faith, and there is also growth of the vocation. So many young boys and girls are expressing the desire to become priests, nuns, and missionaries, not only in the region, even beyond our country. This is the positive effect of the persecution that we witness in our church today. First experience I have in this persecution is our people have grown stronger in faith in Jesus Christ. Though they lost their property, their houses, and their near and dear ones, they had one strong voice. They said, if I live, I will live for Christ. If I die for Christ. They may have done so many harm to us, the Hindu fundamentalists, but they cannot separate us from the love of God. And that was the expression of their strong faith in the Lord. That also has given them to understand their faith more deeply and face these challenges which they suffer because of the faith. Secondly, the power of God to forgive the perpetrators, the fundamentalists. they're able to forgive the others. And that gave them also consolation and also helps them to reconcile with the other groups. And therefore, they have the joy of living this faith again, despite different challenges they face on day-to-day basis.
And it has to be, by all means, be defended and promoted. As a believer in Jesus Christ, in Orissa, in India, we need to be very strong in this ground and nothing to be frightened about it. And we need to live our faith more joyfully, as the Holy Father Pope says that, and this faith has to be renewed every day, every moment for everyone, as a priest, as a bishop, or as a nun, or as a common person, as a Christian.
For me, to live as a Christian, more particularly as a priest, is a joyful experience despite different challenges we face in our own society. Because through this faith, we can really help our people to work for their integral growth. And the church that I am in Orissa, is committed to work especially for the Dalit Christian and tribal Christian. And for me, in our society, in our region, they deserve more attention, not only of the government, but more especially of the church, especially for their empowerment. And as a priest, this gives me a scope to work in various ways and various capacities to work for their development and their growth.
Punctuated with challenges, but as a priest in Orissa, I consider this is a gift of God which has been strengthened by my father and my mother and people of other in the society, and it's something good that I can cherish myself and continue to live as much as possible with God's grace and do what is possible, especially as a priest, and reach out to people with gospel values. My constant passion is to proclaim the gospel through media. I have been, as a journalist, reporting for international and national Catholic agencies, and this is the way we need to tell our stories that could interest others, and we need to also learn from other people through media.
First of all, they find strength from the Lord, because they suffered because of the faith in the Lord. And this faith, primarily, which was brought to us in our region by the European missionaries, that has been very, very strong. And it is the faith that gives us strength to face these challenges that we every day encounter in our life. Secondly, also the solidarity that we experience not only during this anti-Christian persecution time, but even otherwise, that gives us courage to live this faith. Because one of the experiences that I have about Christian faith is such, it's like a body. Any part of the body is affected, other bodies also do feel the pinch of that suffering. And today, if something has happened to me, anti-Christian persecution because of the faith, there are many people across the globe, they have experienced this pain. And they have shown solidarity in many forms, through their prayer, through financial support, coming to us, visiting us. That has been a tremendous strength for me as a Christian, as a priest, to live this faith despite different challenges.
Obviously, we have no other way than to look for God and the source of strength and inspiration, the power of the cross that Christ has defeated once for all and made us victorious. So every believer, every Christian should draw strength from the cross, the powerful weapon that we have and that Jesus Christ has given us. And of course, in the power of resurrection, that everything will be turned into joy and glory as he has shown and lived in this mystical expression of the faith and resurrection. And I always try to draw strength from the mother who loves priests, and almost every day I take recourse to Mother Mary to get strength, because she has been mother of our Lord and mother of priests. And in Orissa, in India, people love Mother Mary just like in Spain and many parts of the country, like in Mexico or in the Philippines.
First of all, I'm grateful to God for giving me this faith to live with human respect and dignity. And I wish to tell people, those who are watching this program, to tell the stories to their near and dear ones and all the people, so that the awareness on Christian persecution is spread, so that solidarity also is created. And this, I believe, will unite us not only in faith but in solidarity, and that will become the true manifestation of Christian religion, because all of us, whether from India or any other parts of India, all of us belong to the Lord. And this gives us opportunity to be united in faith, also work for the common cause.
We'll always remember that how Church has united as a Catholic, as a universal church. And we're happy also to know that people of Spain are always thinking about other people, especially in the developing countries, including India. And we need to be united in our prayers and continue to express our solidarity through our faith and through our support in every way possible.